So welcome back to the channel, and I'm finally diving into a computer that I purchased 6 months ago. That's right, it's been 6 months ago since I purchased this computer, and I'm finally able to tinker around with it. Now, life has been busy. I have a bunch of projects on the back burner, a couple over here, some on the table that you can't see, and this one. A lot of customer repairs, a lot of flips, and a lot of used parts hustle. So I kind of had to put this one on the back burner, but now I finally have some time to dive into it. So we're gonna go back to some footage, which is about 6 months ago, of me picking up this computer and talking about the story behind it. Because there is a little bit of story of me chasing this computer for a while. So let's go ahead and let's get to that footage. It is cold. It is 37 degrees. We are not in North Carolina. We are in upstate New York, Binghamton area, and I am trying to pick up a deal or some parts that I've been trying to get for the past 3 years. That's right, 3 years. 3 years ago, this listed on the Facebook Marketplace, and I'll show you the picture in a bit, for $200. This thing is cool. There is some value to it, and we'll see in just a bit. And I reached out to the guy, no response. Went back to here about a year later and so forth, same thing. And then this summer in August, I was back up here again, and I actually got in touch with the guy, but unfortunately our schedules were not able to line up, and I was not able to pick this up, which was a bummer. Well, we decided to come back up here again in the winter, just spend some time with the family and all that type of stuff for the holidays. And the listing was still there. It was initially listed for $200 3 years ago. Now he has it listed for $100. Last night while traveling, the wife was driving, of course, and I messaged the guy. I was like, hey, I'm still interested in this. Will you take 60? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, cool. So that is a win. I'm excited about it. I can't believe that after 3 years, I'm still able to pick this up. The guy still has it. Either nobody wants it, or it's just the guy doesn't really respond on the Facebook Marketplace. So I'm meeting him at the Cracker Barrel. Should be there in about 6 or 7 minutes. And hopefully after 3 years of trying to get this, I'll finally have it. So let's grab it. And here it is. After 3 years, we got it. Cooler Master 690 NVIDIA edition. These things are a bit hard to find, a little rare. And this thing has a beast of an older computer, and I can't wait to dive into it. So let's secure it. I think that should be fine for now. But considering it's in fantastic condition, it actually has all the pieces, which I'm talking to the guy who was telling me about, which when you find these, they typically don't have the caddies or anything like that. So I'm excited to add that to the collection, tinker with this computer. Now it's time to meet back up with the family, enjoy the rest of this excursion, and probably in about a week or two, when I get back to North Carolina and things settle down, we could dive into this computer. Can't believe after 3 years, I was actually able to score that for $60. The case alone has a lot of value. But I have found every time I've searched for this case, especially local, they're damaged, they're missing the drive caddies, just poor condition, or the ones that are in decent condition sell for a pretty penny. Let's go have some fun with the family, enjoy the rest of this trip, and I'll see you guys when I get back. So, she's finally on the bench. She's been mostly sitting on the table over here, but in fact, at one point, she was actually sitting in the back of my truck for probably about 4 to 6 weeks. But anywho's, I picked this thing up, and I'm excited about it. It is one of the coolest cases, and we'll go over the specs. There's a full computer in here, and yeah, it was 3 years that it took for me to get this computer. Now, real quick, people say this in the comments all the time, man, I can't believe that you drive all the way over here and spend so much money and gas and time to pick up a computer and all that type of stuff. And I've mentioned this before, and I've addressed this in the comments, folks. I just don't decide to drive 3 hours or 8 hours to pick up a computer just to make a couple of bucks. No, the way that I always do it is the family and I, we plan our vacations or outings, and while I'm out there, I find something that's worth picking up to flip. And then once we're done with that, which usually that process maybe takes about 20 minutes, 30 minutes. While we're in that area, we explore and we have a great time. So that's usually my logic behind it. But anyways, let's go ahead, let's take a closer look at this computer because it's really cool. So here she is, and here's a better view. So this case is actually really cool, a little bit rare, and it does have some value. So this is the Cooler Master. I believe it's the 692 NVIDIA edition. They were released around 2008 to 2009 and cost about $100 new. But now, because of the collector and enthusiast market, this thing does have some value for about $200 to $400, which I think is pretty cool. But I am missing something that hurts the value. Well, I wouldn't say I'm missing it. I will say it's broken, and that's kind of my fault. So you have this little tray over here, and this is for the external drive for SATA, as you can see right over here. And unfortunately, yeah, I had a little bit of an accident. This did come with it, or did it come with the other case? I'll talk about the other case in just a sec. You'll see, that's also pretty cool. But either way, when I had this in the back of my truck, I forgot to secure this, and yeah, took it for a drive, fell over, and it's broken. So that does hurt the value a little bit, but there's still value in this case. Probably could 3D print it, who knows? Now this case is really clean. I mean, considering how old it is, the scratches are like little to none. We do have a Samsung Blu-ray disc player, so that's pretty awesome. Maybe there's a movie in it, who knows? And this thing has an entire PC, Intel Xeon action. And we'll take a closer look. In the back, little fan, which I think is pretty cool. I think these are what, 92 millimeters? Yeah. And designed by Cooler Master. Folks, they don't make stuff like this. But while I'm here, let's go ahead and open this up. I don't think it was closed properly ever. I didn't open up the back. And I will say, wow, the cable management, that is, I mean, simple, but impressive. Not too bad. Nice little zip tie here. We got the blue, so black and blue, pretty nice. We have the WT80FGN hydro bearing. Maybe this is one of those that, you know, flash colors or stuff like that. I haven't turned it on, folks. It's been sitting in the garage for 6 months, and I haven't even fired this thing up. So yeah, that part. No storage drives, and the guy did tell me that he removed the storage drives for it. I get it. Kind of a bummer. Maybe it had just real old storage drives that were just not worth it. So not complaining too much. Don't need too much e-waste in the garage. And this cool green logo. I mean, I like it. This is pretty cool. It's see-through, really nice. But let's go ahead and let's finally dive into it. Now, I did open this up so I could do some research and homework for this video on the specs. So I do know a little bit about it, but I never fired it up. And for $60 for this case, and even all this hardware, is still pretty cool. So let's take a closer look. So as you can see, we have dual Xeons. I believe this is the E5645 models. I think 6 core, 12 threads. Let me double check my notes. Yes, Xeon E5645. And today they sell for about 10 bucks. Now, back in 2009, 2010, that area, these things were going for about $500 a piece. So, I mean, back then, $1,000 for CPUs, that's pretty pricey. But then again, CPUs right now almost cost that much. Well, just depending on what you're going for. So starting from the bottom, we do have the green drive caddies, which is cool because I've seen a bunch of these cases listed for like 100 bucks without these. I think we're missing one, so that's not too terrible. For the power supply, OCZ technology. I used to buy their memory all the time for just regular DDR. Really cool looking memory. 700 watts, and well, we have enough connectors. It is modular, but we have enough connectors for what we need. So now for our graphics card. Don't know how well this comes off on camera, but it's a Radeon HD 6970, which was actually a pretty decent card back in, I think, what, 2010. So this computer's around 2008 to 2010 era, and it was about $369 for that graphics card. It sells for about $30 now. Although pretty beefy spec computer, I mean, mostly workstation based. Obviously the better graphics card at that time would have been the GTX 580, but I mean, still a really good graphics card. Now let's go ahead and let's take a look at this memory. Let's just see if we can, man, that cable's a little tight there. I don't know if I want to take all that out. I'm not trying to take all this out. Just kind of trying to run it and see what happens, you know? But let's see if we can get this memory out. Yep, that works. And we got Wintech DDR3 1333. These are 8 gig sticks, ECC memory. So we have 3 over here, 3 on the top. So doing the math, 8 times 6, 48 gigs of DDR3 ECC. Pretty beefy. And for our motherboard, this is the Asus Z8NA. I don't know how well you can see it. The Asus Z8NA-D6C. That motherboard, about socket 1366, I believe, about $300 new when it came out. And there is some meat on the bone for this if I decide to part this out, in the sense that the CPUs and the memory, I see it go for about $100 to $200 on eBay. I'll post recent sellings on screen. So that's pretty cool considering we paid $60 for this case. And I'll talk about my plans for this computer at the end of the video. But I think at this point, I'm ready just to fire it up and see what happens. So I wanted to throw this footage in because I was doing the editing and I realized I don't have a lot of footage of this motherboard, and it's a pretty cool motherboard. I mean, it was in the case and you really couldn't see much with the graphics card and the wires for the power supply. So I went ahead and just took everything apart. And folks, this is a clean system. I mean, like hardly any dirt or dust. But this is a really cool motherboard. We got our 2 Xeons, the E5645. I believe that's what they are. I get mixed up with the numbers. Bunch of SATAs. Ooh, didn't realize that was bent. We'll have to straighten that out and correct that. But yep, we got that. I mean, really cool. USB on the motherboard, so you know, that's nice. Not a bunch of IO on the back, but I mean, motherboards like this, they have their purposes. So, you know, they're built for what they're built for. And this is all our memory, DDR3. I mean, the dust on this is like, I really don't think there's any dust minus what was there on the case and on the power supply. But check this out. These are the CPU coolers. I mean, you got some over here, but these fins are like perfect. Either this thing wasn't used a lot or it was meticulously maintained. So just wanted to go ahead, throw that in there and just show this cool stuff. All right, so let's get this out of the way. We don't need this light. Harbor Freight light, folks, comes in handy, especially when you're trying to light up a dark area, you know, like this. So we got, I think that's a 120 over here, 120 over here. Is this plugged in? 3-pin, yep. The DVD drive, which the DVD drive is not plugged in. Do we have a SATA power? I want to at least plug it in to see, you know, is there a Blu-ray drive in it? Did I say DVD? Yeah, it's a Blu-ray drive. So we're just gonna go ahead and throw this on like so. I'm not gonna plug in the SATA cable, but we will plug in the power cable. Maybe? Do I got it upside down? Yeah, it's possible I do got it upside down. Come on. Ooh, that's loose. Okay, all right. Just stay there, little buddy. Okay, all right, cool. So I guess while we're back here, we look at the rear I/O. So we got PS2, serial, video, 1, 2 USBs, 2 Ethernet, HDMI, the 2 minis, XFX. Pretty cool. And take a look at this power button. Nice click. I like that it's, you know, fatter compared to the typical one. So pretty cool. I think I'm just gonna send it. All right, power supply may not work. It might work. Might catch fire. Don't know. I got a fire extinguisher nearby, so we're good either way. It doesn't have a drive, so we're just gonna see if it posts. We can get into the BIOS, all that type of good stuff. Let's go ahead and pop that in here. Hit the power button, and here goes nothing. This one? Oh, that is cool. That's green. Ooh, I don't think I plugged in the HDMI. There you go. No signal. Oh no. Oh, it's doing something. Oh, sweat. Ooh, yeah. We definitely got to go into the BIOS because we don't have a storage drive. Oh, maybe I'll do it by itself. Oh. All right. Qatar Alt Dull. Let's hit the delete button 6,422 times. No more, no less. Hello. You were working a minute ago. Oh, it's boot cycling. Okay. There we go. The fans ramped up a little bit. Now they calmed down. So now let's hit this. Can we get into the BIOS? Yes. Sweet. All right, so, okay, maybe this thing was fired up before the guy got rid of it. The date seems to be right. So I guess the CMOS battery is still good. So that saves like 50 cents. I'll take it. The time though is wrong. So it's junk, it don't work. Just kidding. Now let's go to system information. Oh yeah, 48 gigs of DDR3, so that's cool. Speed 2400s. Oh wait, no, that's the processor speed. So it picks up both processor, 2400. It's 1333 speeds for the memory. This is supposed to tell you somewhere where the CPU information is. Oh, there it is. It's right there, CPU configuration. All right, yep, our E5645, like I saw, 2.4 gigahertz. And I think I mentioned it earlier, 6 core, 12 threads. So, you know, back in the day, this thing, you know, it could do stuff. A whole bunch of stuff I'm not familiar with, so that's cool. We're just gonna ignore it for now. Server, remote access, yeah, sure. Boot device, priority. Yeah, we don't have a boot drive. All right, cool deal. It works. Now what do we do with it? Well, I mean, we could do a 2009, 2010, you know, retro machine and all that type of stuff, but that could be cool. Or we could just try to see how well this computer, which is, wow, 16 years old, performs in 2026. So I think what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna get a storage drive, pop that in. We're not even gonna entertain the idea of Windows 11. We're just not, because it's Windows 11, folks. We're gonna go with Linux. And I think I'm gonna do the Linux cinnamon flavor, the mint flavor, cinnamon, whatever it is. We're gonna go with Linux. I'm gonna try to play some modern-ish games, maybe. Possibly get a frame per second. Who knows? But let me grab a storage drive and install Linux, get some games going, and let's see how well this thing performs 16 years later. But first, let's do this. Did they leave me a disk? Bummer. Lame. Which is interesting because, like, when I get in people's consoles that they trade in, you know, Nintendo, Wii, Switch, PlayStation, all that type of stuff, people always leave a game. I never get that with a PC. Let me know in the comments if you ever had people leave a disc in the DVD or CD or Blu-ray drive. And what disc was it? Storage. So I got a Samsung 860 EVO 1 terabyte flavor, so that should be good. We got SATA right over here. I think that's plugged in. We got 3 that are plugged in, which I think one is for the drive up here. I could potentially use that, but I think I'm not gonna mess with that. So we're just gonna ignore that. Let's unplug our DVD drive and do this and this. Okay. All right. Now, what I find most interesting about this PC, and I want to take a moment to kind of appreciate it, it's not dirty. This computer is 16 years old and it's clean. Now, we got a little bit of dust, okay? That's not DLM dust, that's stranger dust, but that's about it. There's no dust bunnies, these fans are not caked, and I haven't touched this. I opened it up just to kind of see the CPUs and the stuff that I had, but this is how I got it, and this is the same dust from 6 months ago and from when the guy had it, which is insane because I get computers in the garage that are only sometimes as new as 6 months that are disgusting with dust and dirt, and of course ones that are 3 years old that are covered in dust and nasty stuff. But I mean, the guy who had this, either he was really clean or he cleaned it before I got it, but still, that's impressive. Not bad. So let's go ahead, let's fire it up. I'm gonna install Linux off camera and we'll be back. Linux time. And yes, I do know there are better versions of Linux that are better suited for older hardware like this. Oh boy, what's my password? Okay, cool, remembered my password. But yes, I do know there are better versions of Linux for older hardware like this, but this one is just easy to use right out of the box, install Steam and all that type of good stuff. So I'm not expecting a lot, but I am curious. You know, you never know. The biggest limitation, obviously, the graphics card, only 2 gigs of VRAM, so I know there's gonna be some games automatically gonna be a wash. And then the other issue is that DDR3 just, and CPUs with the not modern codes or instructions or whatever you call it. So, you know, but the 16-year-old computer might surprise you, or it just might not, but we'll see. Yeah, this is not looking promising. So I had to turn it down to 720p just to get 20 frames per second. Start game, but I'm noticing GPU utilization is 0%. I don't know if that's normal. I did check and it did install the drivers for this graphics card. Maybe it's just not compatible. Maybe we might have better luck with a better graphics card. Yeah, this is terrible. This is like 10 frames per second. And our GPU is not doing anything. So let's exit out of this. Let me take a look at the settings and we'll be back. Oh man, folks, we're not doing too good on this. So Tomb Raider, I mean, this thing plays on almost anything. Hit play, and I do know it works on Linux. Yeah, it just keeps crashing right over there. Marvel Spider-Man 2. This is definitely wishful thinking. Yeah, I figured as much. Knew that wasn't gonna happen. So realistically, yeah, this computer, although beastly back in 2009, 2010, it's not holding up for gaming for 2026. 2010 meets 2026, not gonna happen. So as you can see, a 16-year-old system like this, I mean, it's not gonna hold up to modern gaming. Our biggest limitation, obviously, is the graphics card. It only has 2 gigs of VRAM, so that's an issue. I probably could put a newer-ish graphics card and get a little more performance out of it, but it's really not gonna be enough to make it worth it. The other issue is gonna be the CPU. It doesn't have the newer instructions that it's supposed to have, and it is quite old. I mean, DDR3, that is another factor in it, but then again, I still run some i7 4th gens, and I've actually flipped a couple recently, just really budget builds, i7 4th gens with DDR3, and they perform quite well. So I'm really believing that our biggest limitation is going to be these CPUs. This system, yes, it was definitely gaming capable back in 2010, but I'm sure it wasn't really built or geared around gaming. But I mean, it's older hardware. That's just the nature of the game. I mean, eventually, any piece of hardware that you buy, you're going to get a certain amount of years out of it, and then you're just going to get to the point where it's just really not going to hold up and do what you need it to do. That's why we upgrade. But unfortunately, upgrade is expensive. But that's another story in itself. Now, some people might say the whole Linux thing, maybe I should use a better version of Linux. This version of Linux is not ideal for this older hardware. And you're probably right. But from my experience, it doesn't matter what version of Windows or Linux that you use. I mean, the performance gains really is going to be negligible. And in my experience, just using different operating systems, I've never seen a huge gain in older hardware just going from Linux to Windows. Now, you do get a better experience. You don't have all that bloatware and all that type of stuff using Linux compared to Windows. But like I said, I mean, there is no operating system that's going to really get you like a bunch more frames per second. That's just my experience and my opinions. Definitely let me know in the comment. And as far as this computer moving forward, I do have a couple of options. One, I could just turn this into a really cool, 2010 retro build and just see how well this thing performs for games of that era. Let me know in the comments if you want to see it. And then the other option too is cannibalizing it. The case does have some value. The motherboard and CPU, there are people out there that are still wanting this, and they're selling for about $100 to $200 on eBay. So that is an option on that one. And obviously I may have mentioned this or may have not, the power supply, I mean, that's gonna be good for just some testing in the garage. So there is that route to go. Which route I'm gonna go, not 100%. Definitely let me know in the comments. But before we go ahead and end this video, I just wanna show something else cool that I got. And what that is that when I bought this computer approximately like 6 months ago, a month later, a customer reached out to me that he was doing one of those house cleanups, and he found a cool computer case, didn't send me a picture of it and said, hey, are you interested? And I was like, yeah, sure, bring it. We'll see what it is. And yeah, it's another one of these. Pretty cool. Let's take a look at it. It's multiplying, but this one is the better version. And the reason why I say it's the better version is because the IO on the top, check this out, folks. We don't have that eSATA stuff. We just got straight up USBs, which is pretty cool on that one. Unlike the other one that has that eSATA, I think that's what it's called. But this one, the condition is actually pretty okay. So one of the issues is that we got a dent right over here. I guess maybe they dropped this panel at one point, so that's not too pretty. But opening it up, we do have all the drive sleds. It does have the locking mechanism for the drive right up here. The other one is missing this and one of these drive sleds. And like I said, folks, check it out. The modern USB. So that's pretty cool. Let me open up the back. I really haven't taken a look at the back. It doesn't have any fans, so this one is missing. The other one has it. I don't know if these came with fans when you bought them from the factory. Oops, drop that. We'll never see that again. But yeah, I mean, these rubbers have seen better days. I think this one is broken over here. Same thing over with that one. The other one is missing it completely. But I mean, it's one thing I found with these type of cases, these rubber things just become so brittle, they break. So that's to be expected. I mean, it is old. So what I'm thinking about doing is probably taking the panels. How does this one look? This back panel looks to be actually in really good condition. So I think what I'm going to do is take the front panel from that other case. Yeah, there we go. Pop it in just like so, and just make this the nicer-ish version of this case. Yeah, because we don't have that dent right over here. And outside of that, I think that was just somebody dropping a side panel. I've done it a few times, unfortunately. And it's quite sad because these paints just seem to chip. So let's go ahead and put that in there so we don't have no more accidents. Let me take a look at the other panel. Actually, this other panel, I don't know how well it comes out in the camera, but it has a bunch of scratches. Actually, this one's pretty deep right over here. Let's see, any drop marks or anything like that? No, definitely not. So this panel actually looks a lot better. If I could get it in, that'd be nice. It's my first day, maybe. There we go. Throw in this screw just to make sure that we don't have any unforeseen accidents. And realistically, I mean, the case probably has more value because the condition is a lot better. The modernish USB, yes, we don't have Type-C, but it's okay. It still has the button for the LED, but I mean, everything else seems to be a-okay. What I actually might do, now that I think about it, I'm probably gonna transfer that fan from the other one into here because the green fan is gonna look a lot better. Let's go do that quick. Now, yes, you can actually get better fans than this, but I think considering the condition of this fan and how it's more period correct for this case, the green is just pretty decent looking on it. I think that's just the better way to go. Probably doesn't have a ton of airflow, but I mean, for a cool retro build, I think it might work. And now that I look at it, we're missing this, And I think I'm gonna want all these to match. So let me go ahead and grab it from the other case. I probably should have done this before I put the fan in, but you know, I like a challenge. Whoop, there it goes. Now come on, I need you to cooperate, buddy. Maybe this is why they never put it back on. Maybe it just popped out and they just said, bump it. I'm not dealing with this. Yeah, there we go. In fact, I'm actually gonna swap this one out too because this one is darker and the rubber don't feel as good. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4 that don't match. Yeah, these are the ones from the other one. These are ones that they added because this case actually has these. Let's go ahead and pop that in there, just like so. I am replacing these regular screws with these thumb screws. You know, keep the look. Try to keep it authentic. Oh yeah, that looks a lot better. And these I'll put back in the other case. Now I wonder, is there another slot here? Oh yeah, so maybe it is missing one. Yeah, it was missing one. All right, cool. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We got the I/O plates. Yeah, that looks a lot better. And this, which I'm really sad about because that's my fault. There's really nothing else to say, but man, that would have been awesome to have. I guess I'm just gonna hold on to it for now, then figure out something later. Might be able to source one. If not, you could 3D print it, but it would have been nice just to have it all original. We're gonna swap over this Blu-ray. Samsung. Why? Well, because that one's cooler. Let's see, open. There we go. Does this one have a year on it? 2011. I had someone tell me the other day, I can't remember if it was in the comments or if I was talking to somebody about it, that said that these Blu-ray drives are expensive or gone up in price or something like that. I'll post on the screen. I'll do some research while I edit this video, and I'll post on the screen what they're going, but I mean, still pretty cool. Do I have any other screws or anything else that we need to transfer over? Nope, we're good and accounted for. So I'm just gonna tuck this right back in there. Pop this in just like so. I ran out of the matching screws, but I think these should work. Yeah, they'll get the job done. They're just a little slightly off colored, but you know. And there we have it. The Cooler Master 692 NVIDIA edition, fully, mostly restored, complete. I know what I got, no tire kickers. So yeah, pretty cool. So let's go ahead and let's wrap this video up. I think it's pretty cool. Got 2 of these cases. I was kind of able to mostly restore this one. I mean, just kind of put it back with all the features and everything that it was supposed to have. So that's pretty cool. This one is actually still in pretty good condition. It's just a little outdated with the I/O up front, and that panel, it's rough. This one, at least we got some modern-ish I/O. We got better looking panels and everything kind of matched. So that's pretty cool. You know, we have a complete case. And as far as my plans for this case, I don't know. I mean, I'll probably keep it, add it to my collection. I don't collect computer cases. Full disclosure, I don't, but I do have like 2 up there right behind you, which you can't see, that are pretty cool. One is a Lee one, which I will never get rid of that one. It was my dream case, like growing up, and that was the one I wanted, and I finally got it years later, and that case is phenomenal. I think it's like the PC11, something like that. The one that was all aluminum. I did a video on that, so I'll post a link if you want to check out that case. I'll add that up there. This one, in fact, is really cool. They don't make computer cases like this anymore, and I get it because I mean, you have all this newer, bigger hardware. You need better airflow. You need to be able to put bigger coolers on it. And as big as graphics cards are, you'll run into an issue throwing in something like a 4080 Super, you know, one of those monster graphics cards. You can put something smaller in there, but I mean, if you're trying to do your ultimate cool build, you're gonna be limited because, well, you got drive cages in the front. And then the other thing too is that not a lot of people use mechanical drives anymore. I mean, this one has provisions for 6 mechanical drives, which is pretty cool, but either people have a designated NAS or server for that. So interesting how computer cases have evolved. And this one, like I said, I'm torn on what to do with it. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on that. I wasn't trying to go scrap this one per se, but now that I take more looks at this one is actually in rougher condition compared to that one. There's a lot of gouges over here that this one doesn't have. A couple of nicks here and there, and this one is actually in a lot better condition. Not bad for a clean out. Would I sell this thing? Well, everything has a price. Yes, I'll add it to my collection. Maybe I'll do another modernish build with it, but I mean, for the right price, anything's for sale. So we'll see. I'm not sure. And with all that being said, comment down below. Let me know your thoughts, concerns, criticisms. What are your thoughts on this Cooler Master case? What would you do with this old 16-year-old monster system? And would you have bought this computer for 60 bucks? If you like this video, definitely hit the like button, subscribe if you're not, and as always, we'll see what we come up with next.